I feel like that's one of the biggest things to get youth and like diverse cultures involved in the National Park Service. Is like literally you just don't like no one thinks about it. Like I knew about the National Park Service, but I didn't think about it. Like I thought of it like almost like law enforcement, like police officers, which I've heard like some of the rangers talk about, and so it was just something that was not on my radar at all until now basically, and then I'm realizing like this is a whole thing that people can get involved in so many different ways in, and so I'm wondering how we can let people know that this is something that you can be involved in and that it's actually really cool.
I really like the Park Service because it connects people to things that would otherwise be forgotten, things and events, definitely. So when I do my Faneuil Hall talk, I start out with the American Revolution, because that's what a lot of people think of when they think of Faneuil Hall. It's the cradle of liberty. You have no taxation without representation. The meetings that eventually lead to the Tea Party are originally at Faneuil Hall, but get moved to the Old South Meeting House. Was Boston's town meeting space, so that's what everyone associates it with. And I start off, I tell that story. And then I transition and I talk about the rhetoric of the revolution. So the Declaration of Independence says all men are created equal. A big rally cry of the revolution is no taxation without representation. Well, how can all men be created equal if they're still slaves in the South? So that's when I talk about Frederick Douglass, who spoke in Faneuil Hall in the 19th century. No taxation without representation. How can women be taxed when they can't vote? So I talk about Lucy Stone, who was a suffragist who spoke in Faneuil Hall in the 19th century as well, actually on the 100th anniversary of the Boston Tea Party. She held a women's tea party and kind of said that taxation without representation to this day is tyranny. So I think, especially when I bring up Lucy Stone and Frederick Douglass, there are a lot of people whose faces kind of light up and they see it as, wow, this is more than just the American Revolution. This is the American Revolution and the people that were inspired by it, who came here and continued to fight for liberty.
Is there any other advice that you would give youth starting out?
Tell the people that you see every day, the people you want to work with, what you want to do. Like, tell them you want to be a supervisor. Tell them you want to be a leader. Like, they'll see it in you. If you have it in you, then they'll recognize it. You just got to express, like, well, I want to do this, and I'm here. So
then Amy and the other chief of Inter back then, Donna Richardson, they were forming this idea of the SCIP program. So like Amy asked me, like, hey, would you be interested in that? Of course, like you get to travel.
So working with our interns in the program, the idea behind the Student Career Intake Program is to develop the entire individual. They may go into medicine, they may go into art. Everything they do though, they will carry the message that they've learned in their experiences through the intake program. They will carry those in their heart, and everything they do will reflect their experiences. So while we may not have them in our organization per se, if they're working for a partner or if they're working in another field, they're still carrying our values and sharing those with generations to come. And that's a win for everyone.
Anything else? Have a great weekend. See you here at 8:30.
So I think this is kind of one of the big things that Spindle City does. It exposes the youth of Lowell to Lowell and to what the history is. So I think that's kind of something that that Spindle City does, and I think it will continue to do, and it's been doing since I got here in 2007 and now in 2015.
My niece actually, when she was little, she said when she grows up she wants to be a park ranger like her aunt, and that's what like I want to see, like little kids coming to the Park Service thinking we're cool. I'm like, I want to work for that company or that federal government agency. So
how important this agency is really to the story that we have to tell for the entire nation. So to me, it's a passion at every single park that I'm at, to look for the untold story. I think that's the most important thing the most important role that we can play as National Park Service employees. It's so easy to go by the textbooks and the way stories or history is interpreted by the mainstream. But what is it that we can do that's different? And who can we reach that's different? And I have to tell you,